Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm going to be trying something new. So if you're watching this, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to try something different. And welcome to a new episode of the Robbos Gobcast Wrestling Podcast. That's a fucking mouthful. Today, we're going to be starting off with a quick other news situation that's gone on. We're going to we're going to go through them because we want to concentrate on the pay per view last night, a couple of nights ago. For everyone watching this or listening to this, WWE FASTLANE, the pay per view that we all decided, and I think we all collectively go, why the fuck is it happening? It didn't need to happen. You could have fucking done this on Raw or SmackDown. But they did it. They wanted to do it. Fair enough. It's WWE. They always love to shove a pay per view in every 5 minutes. But also, the best thing about this one was that I could actually stay up and watch a little bit of it because it was at a normal time for once. It will go back to normal soon. And also, I booked holiday off work so I could have the night after WrestleMania off so I could sleep. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a dedicated fan right there, mate.
I booked it off. Someone I got asked, why are you booking it off? I said, because I want to sleep. They're like, what are you doing? I said, well, I've got a lot going
Sorry, I
on.
got to.
Yeah. You carry on going. I'll mute you anyway.
Yeah, I have the.
So we got told by several people that they were like, "What are you doing?" It's like, well, I've got Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, all days watching wrestling. I'm gonna need one day to recharge. And we're recording a podcast that night, and the Monday after WrestleMania as
He's probably wondering who the hell this guy is
well.
exactly.
So what
He's
we're
probably
gonna be
wondering
doing.
this guy watches wrestling.
We've got at the end of this podcast as well. We're going to announce WrestleMania week podcast schedule. We had to discuss about this last week, and we talked about it, and we decided that we are both fucking geniuses, and that we're going to be doing a mad week-ish. I think we're doing. I tell you, 3 episodes in a week. Dun, dun,
It's
dun.
unheard of.
It is for normal people, but for us, it's not. Right. And in the words of the greatest fast lane of what happened, by the way, if you're watching this, this is the thing that I'm going to try. Where's all the power gone? Who is it? Let me in.
Can you Can you believe I used to go to school with this guy?
I've wanted to do that for so long. It's quite sad it's taken me this long. Did I mute you by accident? Oh. He's muted. He's gone. The Fiend has got him. They let him in. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing in this podcast today is we're going to discuss other news. Then we didn't do any predictions because I think everyone really knew what was going to happen in that matches anyway. But it was just going to see how they all planned it out and how it was all going to go. So basically, what we're going to be doing is doing other news. We're going to talk about Andrade, his release. We're going to talk about Hall of Fame Batista, what's been talked about that. Then we're going to get into Fastlane. At the end of the episode, we are going to be going through a little bit about what we're going to be doing WrestleMania week. Which will start the Tuesday, the normal, and it will finish the next Tuesday. We're going to go through that as well. So if you can stick around, don't forget, down below in the description is a link to all of our social media pages. Go and give us a follow on any of the podcasts you would like to listen to. We do WWE, we do Royal Rumble, not Royal Rumble, we do Formula One, we do NFL, Redding FC, other sort of content as well. All the link to the description is down below. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to go and hit that notification. Click that subscribe, and you will get instant notification for when we go live. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud, don't forget to give us a follow where it will pop up in your podcast mentions of when we go live. And then the words of the Fiend, and in the words of Bray Wyatt, yowie wowie, let's get into it. And let's let him in. Anyway, let's start off. Big breaking news that happened, I think, after Fastlane, if I am correct. WWE have come to terms of the release with Andrade Cien Almas. We discussed it last week on the podcast. I got very angry during the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's...
And I feel like... Hey, I'm calling from clear, but you need to call for the... Anyway, and we're back. So I said this. I'm going to pass it over to Gulam, but before I pass it over to him to get his opinion, welcome, by the way, I said this last week, and I'll say this again. I think that the massive shame that's happened is you're gonna I put this out on Twitter. You can look at this one of two ways. I think there's 50-50 blame here. And I think the one side of the blame is WWE. How you can't find someone that's a world star, and let's be honest, he will be back in WWE at some point, because the tweet he put out
will happen eventually. He's still very young. Anyway,
exactly, but the tweet he put out that really got me was he said, "I want to thank Triple H, William Regal, and Paul Heyman," which really goes to me that he doesn't have ill favor towards WWE. He just probably has it against creative, which is annoying. And the other way of looking at it as well, and my other percentage of walking out, is you have to pass the buck onto Selena Vega. If it wasn't for her going after her Twitch fan base and for her OnlyFans, not that she does proper OnlyFans, the OnlyFans that she just does cosplay, and it's a bit like...
Yeah, it's one of those. To answer your question, obviously, like, it is frustrating to see what's happened. I mean, I remember when Andrade debuted, back in 2015, it was 2016, around that time. It was against, I think I told you this before, it was when he came in against Ty Dillinger.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I still remember I took a look at him. I was like, yeah, this guy's got a star, everything. Just got a few things, and he tweeted up and everything. And yeah, I remember it was a bit of a rocky start when he came in.
Because he had the Playboy gimmick, and he was winning, losing, but he wasn't really getting anywhere. They were trying
to like get him to do the same, come in the same way he came in with the hat. Basically, it was like what he'd done with his previous gimmick. So it was with the hat and everything was supposed to be like a tribute to that, and etc. And it just didn't really make any sense. That's the thing. And I think it was awkward because at the time Ty Dillinger was over with the 10-10 thing, and yeah, they were trying to make him they were trying to bring in Andrade as a face and try to use Ty as a heel, and it just wasn't going to work. It was just a recipe for disaster, if you will. And yeah, it's one of those things which you could tell it was going to be a tough one for him. And I remember hearing that he wasn't happy at that time, and possibly with him even leaving. Obviously, he picked himself up, and then they started working around it, and then they moved him to Zelina, and the rest was history after that.
Do you know what? The thing that gets me, and we discussed this, is how good of a wrestler he is. And do you know what? I think
hell of a wrestler.
And I think one of the things I was very much worried about is I didn't want him to become like, and I'm not saying this I am saying this because he's Mexican, but the thing that first is I didn't want him to come like an Alberto Del Rio. That was one of my worries of that, was becoming him. And what I've seen so far is he's not going to go off and slag everyone off. He's going to go off. He's going to go to New Japan. Let's be honest. He's going over there to go and team up with his former team that he had before. So he's going to go to New Japan, and I will definitely be watching it now.
I can see him. I can see him and his old buddy Roosh getting back together. I don't know if you know Roosh. He's in ROH. He's his friend. He's a good friend of his. I know that them two will definitely reunite at some point. I remember actually. Roosh was a guy that they were actually interested in signing in at one point, and apparently, don't know how true the rumors are, but apparently Andrade talked him out of signing to NXT, which I thought was a shame, but I can see why I told him not to. If you ever get time, look up Roosh. He's basically a rougher version of Andrade, just a little bit bigger and a little bit more. I can't remember what it was I liked about him. His style is a bit more. It's similar, but he's a bit more hard hitting. So yeah, you should.
Right. Let's move on. I want to add a story in before we get into it. I want to add a slight.
Okay, yeah.
I want to talk about 1 second. Progress Wrestling. Okay, so let's discuss Progress for a sec. Progress have gone through a mass clear out / mass change due to was it the speaking out movement? Is it speaking out movement? Talking out, speaking out. The one where all the women come out. Wasn't the Me Too? It was the wrestling equivalent.
Yeah. I think I was there.
I can't remember. Basically, they did that. A lot of wrestlers were getting away with a lot of crap, blah, blah, blah. So they did a mass clear out and reframed it. Okay. I haven't really watched Progress before lockdown, before this over the year. I haven't really watched it. I watched it here and there. But I've been getting really into it the past few weeks. And there was one that's on the WWE network. You go check it out. It's called, I think it's Chapter 106. Progress. Stick a pony in my pocket. It was called. It was called for that one.
Okay.
And from the beginning of the card to the end was one of the most complete wrestling shows I've watched. Okay, Millie McKenzie looks like a fucking beast, right? She is going to be, and in my
She's
opinion,
like, yeah, like a.
I don't care what anyone says. Millie McKenzie is, in my opinion, right now in the top 5 best British women's wrestlers at the moment. Right, by far at the moment, in my opinion, when I watch her, that she has that star factor that I really look into. Then you've got little gems going up. You've got I can't remember their names. But you've got some excellent tag team wrestling, excellent women's wrestling, and you've got the main event, Car Noir, right? He has the joint with Walter, the best entrance in WWE in wrestling. Sorry, in wrestling, just the production from start to finish sucks you in. Okay, and you feel part of the entrance, and you join in, and you don't. It's one of those entrances that you do this, right? And you're amazed by it, watch it all the way through. And then when he gets in the ring, you normally get some wrestlers that have an excellent entrance, Bobby Roode, and then not that much substance in the ring, Bobby Roode. But then you get wrestlers that don't really have a great entrance, but have excellent in ring. Seth Rollins. But then if you get like with him, he in my opinion, and I can't rave about this as much, but in my opinion, Progress Wrestling is one of the best wrestling shows. And people keep going, people need to stop sleeping on Impact. Yeah, don't sleep on Impact. Excellent shows. They do some great stuff. I'll tell you what, people need to be watching Progress Wrestling. I can't rave about this enough. How much I enjoy everything about it. I tweeted about it. Progress Wrestling saw it. They retweeted it. I really want to. I don't want to work with Progress. I do want to work for Progress, but I want to team up with Progress. Get their superstars on here. Talk to them. Get people on here, wrestlers on here, and discuss it. Because I tell you what, British wrestling and ICW as well did an excellent pay-per-view called Bard, where all of the matches were all in steel cages. Okay, and the storytelling in that was amazing. I haven't watched all the way through it yet. I've watched a couple of matches, and I'm very, very excited. I'm going to watch the rest some point this week. But I am very, 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 very excited for that as well. British wrestling looks good, especially when fans come back. I really want to get some tickets. Especially to Progress, and definitely get Gulam. You'll come with me, by the way, and go and have the day out. Go watch the Progress, film it, vlog it, have a laugh with it, have some jokes, do whatever. I'm very excited for that. But enough about my Progress rant. Go check it out. Gulam, you need to go check it out. It's fucking excellent. Next thing on the agenda before we get into let me in FASTLANE is the apparent non-turning up or non-inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame is Dave Bautista, as it looks like, but it's Dave Bautista. I'm for miles inside this building. Who apparently, according to some reports, are saying that they do not want to induct him into the Hall of Fame until they do a Hall of Fame in front of a crowd, to get the reception and the thanks he gets. Yeah, I agree. I don't think the Hall of Fame should be going in this year either. I feel like that they should be waiting as well for everyone to get inducted in front of a crowd. In my opinion, but I do think that they should. I think they should have waited. They should have nominate people who are going in, who are inductees into the 2021 and the 2020, and then 2022 comes around, and then you have a 2-night special of a Hall of Fame. Induct 2020, 2021 in one night, and or split it in half and do the 2022 as well. But that's my opinion. What do you think about it, Mister?
It's funny you say that because that'll be like 3 nights of it really, because it'll be 2020, 2021, 2022 at the same time.
Do you know what? You can make a week of that. You've got 3 nights of Hall of Fame, 2
the thing is,
takeover.
You have to be fair though, but it'll drain you out all that. That's the thing, you know.
Drains me out just watching one pay-per-view on a fucking Sunday.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, the guys want to be getting themselves in the ring and setting themselves up for the WrestleMania shit and everything. So I don't think that's a good idea necessarily.
I don't think it's a good idea. I'm just talking shit.
I know, but yeah, what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Well, you asked me about how the situation is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a shame really, because I feel like Dave, Dave deserves, every moment, every bit of what he's getting, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I think it's just like, how the past year has been for everyone with the whole COVID situation. That's really made it harder for everyone else. I mean, I've seen people online already making their things like, "Oh, he doesn't even deserve it. It's wasting all." I'm just like, how does he not deserve it? The guy was he was a face on SmackDown, one of the top faces of the 2000, from 2005, 2010ish. He was one of the top, names around that time. He carried SmackDown for years.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Cena, Orton, those are the first 3 guys who always come to your mind if you ever mention, like, they're the most easily recognizable people. Like, as soon as you mention Batista, people will think of John Cena and Batista, on SmackDown versus Raw covers and all that. So, to say that he had no impact is a bit of a, stupid.
Yeah, people say that just find anything. Right, FASTLANE. Yeah. Let's get into it. Pre-show, we didn't do our predictions because we all knew what the fuck was going to happen. We're all going to be doing our predictions for TakeOver and WrestleMania and any other show that they got going on. So we're going to be doing the predictions for that. We're going to go on the pre-show first. Riddle versus Mustafa Ali.
I didn't see that. I know what happened, but I didn't see it.
So I watched it because I thought it'd be interesting to watch. And all I can say is I do not. All right, so I'm going to be controversial here. So I tweeted this as well. So I have pre-warned people. I do not get the hype around Ali. Okay, as a wrestler.
Okay.
So I watched the match, and I watched his promo afterwards, and I've watched it. The thing that I don't get with Ali is simple. Okay, so I think Ali's moveset restricts him a lot in a wrestling.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is if you've got a cruiserweight, let's look at the great cruiserweights that have made it gone on to bigger and better things. Rey Mysterio, great catchphrase, great endurance, great heart. You've got Neville. Let's be honest, Neville was one of the biggest cruiserweight stars going. Not only did he have that ruthless side, he had the submission game, and he could use the high flying and wrestling maneuvers as well at the same time. No. Hear me out and tell me what you think.
No, I just want to say with Neville, the thing about Adrian Neville, which never really quite clicked with me, was this. And it might be a bit harsh for me, but I just never found him intimidating to listen to, because every time he tried talking like a tough guy, he just sounded like a drunken Geordie pirate,
He never really. If you listen to a Geordie drunk, it's fucking hilarious.
That's my point.
Drunk with some of them. It's quite interesting.
That's my point. I could never take him seriously.
So I don't get the hype around Ali's promos. They sound too generic. They sound like that he's gone, I'm going to do my own thing, but then I'm going to sound like every other person that tries to do their own thing.
Let me just say, if you watch Mustafa Ali's promos and vignettes he used to do before that, he can cut some great promos and vignettes when it's just him doing the camera thing and like doing it his way, like his style. You see what I was talking about when he's out.
Yeah, no, I've seen him when he does it on Twitter, and I still don't rate it.
Really?
I'm not. There's something about him that I don't feel like, oh, I believe you, or I get where you're coming from. I look at it and go, you're just being generic. You're not trying to be different. You're doing the same thing that I have seen everyone else do. And look.
I disagree on that one, I'm afraid.
He's a good wrestler. But his moveset restricts him by far. And Riddle is, in my opinion, fucking hilarious. Whoever's doing his comedy writing, whoever's doing it, deserves to be a pay raise because it is one of the funniest things that I watch.
I find it frustrating when not frustrating. I find it annoying that they made him stop doing the 045, 450, 045 they used to do because of, I don't know why he doesn't do that anymore, but that used to make him, was actually what made him unique as a cruiserweight.
Yeah, but that still restricts him. His finisher maneuver is on the top rope. Okay, if you're someone that's going to be, let's look at it like a Finn Balor, right? He's a cruiserweight slash a big guy. If you could look at it in that type of way, and Johnny Gargano, they both have that are different.
Don't get that far.
You've got Johnny Gargano is miles better than Mustafa Ali, but by a
no way.
Like but he's not. I mean, the size of Stamford Bridge. Okay, no, that's too small, and there's no one ever in it. The size of Old Trafford is the size difference, right? It's that they have a submission maneuver that makes them look dangerous. They have something that will make them look a bit different than others. Ali is just so. Look, let's be honest. He was never going to win that match anyway. Riddle's going to hold this title for a while. I don't see anyone really beating him. I don't know who's going to be going up against at Mania. It's going to be interesting to see what they do on that. The thing that I understand now is the ending. Okay, Retribution walking out. They can now hopefully get Mia Yim. What is her name in Retribution?
Reckoning.
They can finally get her doing it. Slapjack, who I think is Shane Thorne.
Shane Thorne, yeah.
Who is a very funny bloke, by the way.
I like Shane.
And he can be he's a very good wrestler.
I still remember when he came in with Mikey Nichols in the TM61, and
I love them.
I thought they were a great tag team, man. I like.
They were in the Dusty Cup final against AOP, weren't they?
Mate, I still remember that. I felt bad for them because I always thought they had a great finisher and everything, but it's just.
Didn't Shane Thorne jump off the steel? There was a
he jumped.
Didn't he? And he flipped off.
I think he's a great performer, and I think it's easy to forget about him because he's not exactly the most intimidating guy in the business, but he's charismatic. He's got the I think if given the right direction, he could be a decent mid-carder.
Yeah, I think he could be good. I think he could be good in a team. I think he could be good on his own. And then you've got Dijakovic and
Dijak. Yeah, well, I just call him Dijak because he's always Dijak to me.
And the other bloke, I call it his Mace, isn't it? But what's his real one?
Mace. It was Brendan Williams.
Mace actually sounds better, to be honest.
Yeah, man. 1 second.
Mace does sound
yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, Brendan Williams. I remember he was featured on NXT a lot.
Didn't he do?
No, not NXT. No, I don't mean NXT. He was doing NXT house shows. He never really was on NXT TV. I mean, he might have been on NXT US before they edit and all that, but he was mostly featured on the house shows. I remember when Dijak came in, they actually had him as a tag team with him on house shows as well. So he's been there for a while. I think he actually trained at Booker T's wrestling home. Wrestling
Isn't that the
school
one where Ember Moon?
Same thing with her as well. Yeah, Athena. Yeah.
All right, so quick thing for you. I'm going to ask you a quick question, and then we're going to move on to the next match. one thing that the Reckoning did that stood out for you, and what was the worst thing about Reckoning?
Are you talking about Reckoning or Retribution?
That one. See, that's the worst thing about it. I don't know fucking name. Retribution.
Me, Retribution. Wait. We're talking about Retribution, yeah?
Yeah. One thing that
Okay.
stood out for you for Retribution that was very
Okay,
good.
I'll be fair. I think I know what you're trying to say because I know everyone's making a joke about this. I think Retribution had a good start. They had a good start. You know, the interest was there. You could tell that they looked like they were going to make the next Nexus / Shield thing, if you will. And it looked like they were really going to go that way with them. You know, it looked like we're going to have, quite a few of them that were going to attack the roster, tear up shit up and everything. And it looked like, I was actually excited. I'm not going to lie. I actually wanted to see where it was going to go with it because it looked like it had everyone there. There was rumors of Chelsea Green in there. There was rumors that there was Jesse Kamea in there. There was rumors that obviously we knew that Dijak was definitely going to be part of it, as well as Mia and I think Shane as well. So it made you wonder who it was that was going to be the next guys trying to next guys coming in trying
worst thing.
I mean, I can't really think of one thing that wasn't bad. I mean, I'll say the worst thing was that when they just rebranded them with the masks and everything. I think that was when it went downhill.
Do you know what? I'm going to do this quick and easy. The one good thing about them was their Twitter game. And
the Twitter game, yeah.
Yeah, and the one bad thing about it was all of it.
That's what I'm trying to say is that it went downhill for me as soon as they gave them the masks and
look, I'm all right for masks. I find it interesting, but then when we know it's Mia Yim and we know that she's having a relationship with Keith Lee, and then you call her Reckoning, that ain't gonna work. And we know her from NXT.
It was funny when her mask fell off and no one said anything. That was what I was laughing at.
Anyway, next match.
Let me just say that I hope that this is the last that we're gonna have to deal with the Retribution thing. It can all just move on and just let them just be themselves now, because I think it just doesn't work anymore.
I hope that I'm going to call him Mace anyway. Mace and Dijak stay together and do a tag team. They look like they could do some good things.
You see, I want to see Dijak on his own, but I think for now he can do it. I think now he'll be fine as a tag team for a bit.
Just teaming up with Keith Lee, done easily.
Easy.
Next match: Big E versus Apollo Crews.
Great match.
Shit ending.
I didn't have a problem with the ending. No. I didn't have a problem with the ending. I did not have a problem with the ending because let me just say, I think they did it right because it keeps Apollo, relevant. It doesn't kill his momentum.
When I say shit ending, I mean the pin, not what happened afterwards. The pin, the end of the match looks shit. Everything about the match was good. Everything about the match was good. Everything, the wrestling, the way that everything was going, it was. So I'm not talking about the after the match. Okay, I'm not talking about that bit. That bit, very, very good. The match, very, very good. The pin.
Like I said, I don't have a problem with the pin as much. You just look, I can see what they're going to do with it because it keeps the angle going, and it's actually a smart way to do so. Instead of just having it be like it goes to a DQ or anything else stupidly they've done in the past.
I think they should have done the DQ. What Polo did afterwards, they should have done without the pin.
I like the way he kept selling it, with his yelling at him in the accent. I thought that was brilliant. I think like you got to be.
How many Olympic slams did he need to pull up? Wasn't it 5?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
5, wasn't it?
But I was gonna say, I like you have to give him credit where it's due. Like to keep in character and intense like that, it's not easy. I'll tell you that. Like you can tell you could definitely you'd struggle doing so. But I don't think this gets said enough. I think he actually does a pretty good Nigerian African accent as well. I think it's
very good.
Like it doesn't sound like he's trying to like it's saying in a funny way. He sounds a bit more like if I'd never seen him before the first time, I think he's just about convincing. I mean, I don't think it doesn't sound like he's trying to be completely African the way Nigerian the way he says it. I think he's mixing up with a bit of American because it makes sense. He's been in America for a while, so we'll have that American like you can see it sounding American and Nigerian at the same time. So I think that's fine. I mean, everything he should be doing is trying to speak some Nigerian as well, just to make it more authentic. But otherwise, I think he's doing a tremendous job.
Exactly.
In all
I
honesty,
could see him most probably winning the title at Mania.
it's going to
Uh,
happen. They have to do it because it looks like he's on point. They look like they're getting it right with him. As much as I like Biggie, I think it's the best way to get the title off him and get the aggressive side out of him more.
yeah. Next match we're gonna
Yeah.
go on for Sasha Banks and Shayna and Shayna Baszler. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Oh, I am not happy about this.
I really didn't care about this match, to be honest.
No,
Anyway,
no, no. It's not the match, but what happened afterwards. Yeah, I got angry. I got pissed after the match.
I was like, I was pretty about the same as well, to be fair.
I was so close of turning it off because of what I was watching. You have no understanding how angry I got watching.
What did you do?
No, no, no. Right. So the bit that pissed me off, quite a lot, was right. So we've all been talking about Bianca Belair. We all know how good she is. We all know that she doesn't duck or dive. She runs for a challenge. She does everything head on. She got called a rookie 3 times during the match and did nothing. Sasha Banks slapped her and pushed her in the head twice, and she did nothing. Right? I'm not being funny, and yeah, okay. They're gonna pull the rookie card, and then she's gonna pull it out. I get that. But you don't get Bianca Belair to get hit when she's the EST, and just let her stand there and go, okay, and look at the Mania sign and go, okay.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, and it's like,
I thought
right,
that was a bit weird as well, to be fair.
fucking hit her. I'm sorry, but if you're in a normal situation and you get slapped, how hard? And let's be honest, that was a fucking slap and a half.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. It
But
doesn't make sense. I'm surprised they just had to do that as well. I mean, I think that it would have been a better thing for him to do was for her to snap at her and just be like, just make her stand her ground and then point at the sign to remind her that what's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get that ending myself.
Do you know
I
what
think
was
that
weird as well,
yeah.
right? I'm on a rant here now because how
Yeah, go
much
for
it
it.
annoyed me. Do you know what was really weird, right? So she does a slap, looking at the WrestleMania sign. Sasha Banks is just stood at the end of the ramp, just holding the belt, and Bianca Belair's just looking at the sign. Like they're all looking at the wrong direction, right? If you're Bianca Belair, you're staring down Sasha Banks and going, "I'm gonna fucking have you." Right, I'm gonna fuck you up the next time I see you, and then you get Sasha Banks going, "Yeah, I'm a dream I haven't made yet, and it's time yeah, Snoop Dogg, yeah, I'm a Snoop Doggy Dog, yes, yo, like that shit going on, and then you have Bianca staring at her. It just, do you know what it felt? Right, it felt lazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you anyway. I know that doesn't sound like it makes any sense, and for some reason it reminds me of that time when Ronda Rousey came in at the Rumble, and she came.
She just come bowling down to the ring and goes. It's like no.
I tried not to think of it like that. I was too busy, like happy at the time. But when I look back on it, even then, man, even back then, I was like, "That doesn't really make sense." But when you look back on it now, it doesn't make it is even stupider now when you think about it. It's like
of all the things to do to Ronda Rousey, you get her to do that. It's like, oh.
I mean, don't forget we had Kurt Angle just. I still remember we had Kurt Angle when they did the contract side. And Kurt Angle was that they somehow made him play the complete idiot who blurts out everything, and then out of nowhere he just stands there making that face like he's about to get punched in the
Well, when Triple H punched him, he goes.
Yeah, I'll never understand how that
fucking
happened.
Brilliant. That was fucking brilliant. So
Yeah,
let's go on to the next match. Braun Strowman. Can we talk? Do we have to talk about this?
You mean you can make it a quick one?
Okay. Strowman destroys Elias after Shane fake injures his knee during the practice.
Can I just say I like Elias. I think he's a hell of a talent. I don't understand why they keep doing this to him. He really should have been. He should have been holding multiple titles by now.
He's so funny. Do you know what the issue is for Elias? Is there's no crowds. Elias brought so much heat, especially that Seattle one with Kevin
I love
Owens.
that promo. I can watch. Should I tell you it'll be even better promo? If you remember that same year, it was the World Cup for England.
Oh yeah.
Imagine how much heat he would have got if he took the piss out of that.
Mm. Do you know what? When I went to go to Raw. Quick story time. I
Go
went to
for it.
go to I went to Raw, and it was when Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns were having their ding dong going on, and it was Money in the Bank coming up because they were doing Money in Bank qualifiers, and
Yes.
it was Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins feud that was happening, and Elias come out and he did a promo, and I have never heard anyone get cheered as much as him. He was insulting us, and people going, "Yes, Elias," like that, and he was, and then all the lights went off, and they stopped recording, and for 45 minutes, this is no joke. After Raw, it was Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Elias. I think Braun Strowman was there. I think Drew McIntyre might have been there.
What year was this?
I can't remember. This was when there was the big trophy. There was a big
Oh,
trophy at
okay.
ringside. I
Was
think
that
Braun
the? Yeah, I think I know.
Strowman.
Yeah, the Great American. Yeah, the Great Royal Rumble, whatever you call it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he had
2018. Then.
yeah. So we went to that, and it was Elias was one of the funniest. There was a point where every time he was going to talk during the end, someone would cut him off. And he went, "Oh, for God's sake, someone just let me sing." And then the whole crowd would go, "We want Elias. We want Elias." And he already walked outside, but someone pushed him out because the whole crowd kept going on about "We want Elias." And he come out and performed. It's one of the greatest performances I've ever heard, by the way. It was even better
Yeah, I
than
think I've said it before. I remember when Eli. I never don't think I've ever had the chance to say this, but I remember when I went to Takeover back in 2015 in London. Great one. That was a great takeover, by the way.
It was.
I remember when I went there years ago. I literally came in. Okay, I'll be fair. I missed the entrance and everything, but there was a dark match. Well, they were recording the NXT matches anyway for that early hour, whatever it was, and it was don't remember this fat idiot who used to be there. What was it? Bull, Bull, can't remember his name. Bull. Remember Bullfit? Whatever his name is.
Oh, I think I know what you're on about.
Yeah, that fat idiot. Yeah, I remember when he was there. He was obviously jobbing at the time. But Bull Dempsey, that's it. Yeah, him. He's Bull. His Bull. His name.
Oh,
His
yeah.
name's his name's Bull James now. He likes that bull. Anyways, yeah. Long story short, he was there, and he was it was Elias who was debuting. Elias Sampson, should I say? He was debuting. I remember watching him debut, and I was just like, it was a short match anyway, but I could tell that yeah, as awkward as it was, I actually liked him from the instant I saw him, and I've always thought he's got that star thing about him. He's always what I mean. It never worked on NXT because the crowds they're just dicks. So there's no use trying to win them over. But when he came onto the main roster, that's when he really took off. And I think, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Elias is a guy who should be pretty much at least on the top five, even top three. I'll put him at if used properly.
Mm-hmm. Right, let's get into the next match. The next match coming up.
And I don't understand why they put him with Riker if he doesn't do anything.
To be fair, it did make me laugh when Riker just threw him back into the ring on Strowman.
But I don't. The thing I don't get is what's the point of putting him with Riker if Riker doesn't do jack shit apart from lose? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Either they're just doing it to ruin Riker, or they're doing it to ruin Alliance, or both at the same time.
Probably both. Next up, Rollins versus Nakamura.
I love this match.
Yeah,
I was hyped for it the minute they even teased it on SmackDown. So I have nothing bad to say about it. One thing I will say, if that match was 40 minutes and they had done it the way they would have done in New Japan, you would have been talking, that would have been match of the year.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's one of those things that we don't have to talk about because it was that good. It's one of those things where it's that good that you just need to go. If you haven't seen it, please go and watch it.
I think those two deserve a round. They deserve a second match after that one because I think we need more. I'm sorry, but that was that was something else.
Next up,
I said that was also Shinsuke's best match in a long time.
Yeah,
and Steph's as well.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have Braveheart versus Sheamus for a no holds barred match. And let's be honest, we all thought they were going to rip the living shit out of each other, and they did.
Pretty much, yeah. I will say, I think this match. I actually remember saying myself, I think this should have been the closing match of the night because I think that the way they did it, it was so. They pretty much they wrecked the entire building. So to me, if that was the way that would have been the best way to Div would go home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it was an excellent match. I think it really shows Drew's got different levels to his game. Sheamus just goes to show that he's one of the best as well.
I don't think Sheamus gets enough credit where credit is due as well. To be honest, I actually think Sheamus deserves one run with the big gold because he looks the part right now. He looks. I don't know how many times I've said this before, but I think at this point right now he's definitely worthy of holding the big title at least one last time before he hangs up the boots for good. I think the only title he hasn't held is the IC title, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the one that stops him from the Triple Crown. Let's move on. Drew picking up the win going into Mania now. The Fiend.
What did you share with me? Right.
You'll see it. The Fiend is back in the most creepiest way ever.
I'll be honest with you. When I was watching this match, I was just like, "Can he just show up already?" But I was. It was funny as well at the same time. But when I saw the Fiend doing that, so the first thing came to mind is I hope they don't just have him pull Randy into the ring or something. And, I'm glad to say they didn't do that. When I saw him come out from the floor and everything, I was like, this is going to be interesting. I don't think that's his final form. I think they're going to, I think as he tweeted, it's going to be a cocoon kind of thing. He's going to rip it off and there'll be some more layers there. All I'm going to say, I don't think this gets said enough, but I think Bray Wyatt is like the one rare character that they simply can't get rid of. They can't bury this character. No matter what they do with it, he will always come back better than ever. You know,
I think he's one of these that he is definitely a future Hall of Famer, and he's also one of the only wrestlers I think you could say he doesn't need a WWE title. He just needs creative freedom.
I don't think he necessarily needs a title either. I know people get pissed whenever he doesn't have a good brain or whatever it is, but the reality is that I don't actually think he needs to hold a title as much. I mean, look at the Undertaker. Undertaker should have been a multiple-time world champion before he retired. And he's only been
5 times.
Pardon me?
Wasn't it? Well, didn't he have 5 world titles?
5 or 6 times, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not even like compared to Cena, who's a 16-time world champion. I think that Taker would have been the perfect guy for that. But the thing is, you have to understand is that it doesn't. A lot of them will look at their character and be like, "Do I need to hold?" I remember Hurricane Gregory Helms said it in an interview. Was that he said in a shoot interview that Taker had to go. Well, not had to go, but he tried to explain to him that because he was the cruiserweight champion at the time, and he was Shane Gregory Helms at the time, not the Hurricane. Taker explained to him that.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, he said to him that you're the champion. You have to always be representing that division and representing the company, etc. And have to have that title at all times. He said then that Taker said that he never when he held the title he wouldn't carry around with him or he didn't need it as much because it didn't suit his character. Quite we said it was earthy. So I think they look at the title and they'll see does the character really need it as much, and I feel like if you can apply that to Bray Wyatt as well, that he doesn't necessarily it's an earthy kind of kind of thing for him, so it doesn't really go with his character.
I agree. Last but no means least, we're trying to rattle through this as we've done this for quite a while now, and we're going through it. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan in a Universal title match. Edge Special Enforcer going into it. I know how I feel about the match, and I tweeted about this. But I want to get your quick view on it, and then my quick view, and then we will then see you guys, and then we will do our schedule. We will also tweet out our schedule, what we will be doing as well over WrestleMania week as well. So final thoughts on Roman Reigns versus the Yes Movement, Daniel to the Bryan, to the Bryanson, to the Danielson.
I've always said those two are like, I don't know, I don't think it's said enough, but I think them two just bring out the best out of each other. And I had no doubt it was going to be a great match, and it was a great match overall. The one spot I'll never forget is when they were at the top rope and Roman reversed reversed the Hurricane Rana into that Boston Crab. Just I've never ever thought I'd ever see Roman Reigns do something like that in my life.
So I tweeted this, and I want to get your opinion on it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my opinion on the match, and I want to get your opinion on this, which I spotted something, but I want to get what you think of it. So my thinking of the match was, I think it was absolutely amazing. I thought it was the way it should go. I think it was the way it should end, and I think it's the way it should build. This is another layer to Edge's character. They're now giving him back the ultimate Opptuniest, where they destroyed Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. I also want to say as well, what I found was Roman Reigns, since he's come back and become the tribal chief, he's been doing a lot more mat wrestling moves. And when I mean that as well, he's also done more of that, but he's also been doing a lot more submission moves, which he never really did before. And I think that adds another layer to his character, that he can pull submissions out and he can do the normal wrestling stuff.
I want to see him do some hit the multiple suplexes like, Brock Lesnar, just to make people question, is he mocking Brock Lesnar, or is it because them to have a partnership? I want to see him do something like that, just to make you question whether that's him taking the piss out of Brock, or if he's trying to show that him and Brock have an understanding, or if it's Paul Heyman kind of guy thing, or whatever you want to call it. I want to see him do that. But the thing is, I loved it when he did that Rough Rider move as well. I think he needs to do that again a few more times. What I want to see, what I was trying to say was that the Boston Crab he did, I think that it was so nicely done, off the top rope, and I'd love to hear what Chris Jericho has to say about it, because I'm sure that he put it over quite well.
Chris Jericho can't even do a fucking lion salt anymore. So thank you. I think that pay-per-view was very,
maybe
very
Roman
good.
could do one. You could call it a Roman salt.
He doesn't need to do it. He's too good for it. So here we go. So the announcement we're going to make. So Tuesday, the 6th of April, is going to be the start of the week when we start doing the week-long WrestleMania week podcast.
Yes.
So that one is going to be a review of the overall week, and it's going to be building up to the 2 nights of NXT TakeOver. NXT TakeOver is the 7th and the 8th of April. So on the 9th, Friday, the 9th of April, me and Gulam will be doing a podcast. We're going to be recording it during the day, so like now, and we're going to be releasing it overnight. So it will be with you during the night and in the morning. So it could be out at 10:30, or it could be out in the morning. It all depends on the schedule of where we go and what we do. We want it out Friday, the night after, the day after TakeOver. Then we've got WrestleMania on the Saturday and Sunday, and then we will be recording on the 12th, which will be with you on the 13th. And we will be doing our overall review of WrestleMania on its own. We probably will miss some matches, some that we know will just be card fillers. But we will be getting all the talking points, and at the end, and then what we will be doing is we will not be reacting to anything else. And then the next week after that, we will be reacting to the night after WrestleMania, the Raw, and we will be talking about SmackDown most probably being on a Tuesday, and NXT on a Tuesday, SmackDown on a Friday. And then what we will do for the week after as well is we will do our predictions for the rest of the year, where we see things going, where we see could happen, where things could happen. We're just going to have a bit of a fun episode. But Gulam, you beautiful bastard, thank you ever so much for coming on. We will see you next week. Gulam, you know how much I love you anyway. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Too much.
And we will see you guys very, very soon. All the love and all the best. And if the Fiend comes to you and says, "Let me in," don't fucking answer the door. Let me in.
I'll just say hi. I'll just say hi and let him in, because I'm a nice guy.
No,
Yeah.
I'll say no. Fuck off. I've shit my pants already once today. I do not want to do it again. And all love, all care, and peace, and bye.
Hello.